Welcome back to the All Long Island Games. It's the 2024 version, as we have some of the best prospects in that class going head-to-head here at Breezy Park. And quick opportunity for the white team, but Dennis Fargione says no, the netminder from Garden City, who had an excellent campaign this past spring. And one of my favorite uncommitted players, Dylan Rocchio out of Comswag, wearing number 6 in black, certainly someone to watch. And his attack partner, Caden Lennon, big number 40, 6'6", 230. He's committed to Bryant, but I'm sure a lot of the big-time schools after this high school season will be contacting him. He is a special player, and it's going to be fun to really see all these 24s in action here today. Now here's Lucas LaForge on the far side, the Michigan-bound junior. And LaForge was terrific for a Mount Sinai team, loaded with senior talent. And now here's Lennon, a guy who knows how to use his size so well. And Lennon, right-handed shot, that one saved. That's Jimmy Caputo. And Caputo, who, of course, one of the top 2024 goalies on Long Island. We didn't really see him too much in the high school season because, of course, Farmingdale had Michael Ippoliti, who is a senior headed to Syracuse. He's one of the best goalies in the country, so Caputo had to sit behind him for a year. But now he's got the keys to the kingdom for a Farmingdale team that will look to repeat as Long Island champs next year. He's going to be fun to watch in this one. Caputo and Fargione, the two goalies here. And on defense for the Dark team, we see Tommy Snyder on the far side. Jack Morrison right in front of us. He's excellent. And also Mitty Quinn Reynolds, known for his defensive prowess. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch. He started playing some offense, too, for Northport, man. He's excellent. And now we'll see what the Dark team could do with possession here. And LaForge from downtown, that one's stopped by Caputo. And Caputo unleashes a laser, looking to keep it in. I believe that was Michael Aiello. Is it Aiello or West? And that was Owen West. So we got two Southside guys on the white attack unit. And Owen West, who's going to Bryant, easily one of the best attackmen in Nassau County. I don't think there's a doubt in a lot of people's minds about that. He's teaming up with Michael Aiello. That's going to really be a special combination next year. That 2024 class at Southside, absolutely loaded. Really excited to see what he can do. And at midfield, we got Kyle Bellello and Anthony Marino for the white team. And number 10, Brian Knapp, who's headed to West Point. Knapp on the split dodge. Uses a pick, but he's met by Reynolds. And there's so many fun individual matchups, you know, that you really don't get to see in the high school season, like Chaminade Northport. Now you get to see it in games like today. And Knapp, who is tremendous going to play at Army, but you got Quinn Reynolds, who's still uncommitted. He is one of the best uncommitted players in the nation when you talk to a lot of college coaches. You know, he might not be the biggest defensive midfielder, but he is certainly one of the toughest. And he's going to be exciting to see here today. And hauling it in is Marino. And here's DeBuscher. Over to Marino. And Bellello on the spin move. Immediately met by his fellow Friar teammate, Tommy Snyder. And Bellello has to be one of the fastest players on Long Island, especially for next season. We saw him play a lot of D-Midi for St. Anthony's this upcoming year. Expect him to maybe go 2 ways, next season with all those seniors graduating. And now West on the far side. Gives it off to Knapp. Knapp beat up by Reynolds. Ends up goosing it to Owen West. And DeBuscher able to get it, but Fargione with a big save, and he loved that one. And Snyder with the behind-the-back pass finds the stick of Reynolds. On the far side, it's LaForge working on Jack Mahalan. Matchup we saw in the 2022 Long Island Championship game when Manhasset went against Mount Sinai in one of the most legendary games, with Manhasset upsetting that unbelievable Sinai team. And now we still both, of course, see Mahalan and LaForge doing big things on big stages. As that pass, a little bit too much heat on it, that's a turnover, and the white team will take over. Caputo finds Knapp. And Brian Knapp and Peter DeBusch are two Chaminade midfielders that you'll see on this white team. They are candidates to really have breakout seasons their senior year. And, they're guys that have been exciting here so far today. DeBuscher almost had a goal, but he was absolutely robbed by Dennis Fargione. I believe they're club teammates. Of course, a lot of Chaminade guys play on the LI Express. Fargione is the netminder for that Express 2024 team that has so much talent, like Owen West, who has the ball right now. He was excellent for Express last summer, and of course a summer that meant so much towards their recruiting. And now it's Knapp on the righty sweep. Turns back to Bilello. Bilello goes under, beats his guy, and finishes. And Bilello having fun with it over there. He shows off that acceleration. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast. He might be one of the fastest 2024s on Long Island. And you see it exploding out of his break, and Bilello finishing with the right hand inside. The white team gets on the board. And Bilello, another member of that Express 2024 team that was talked about so much. And quick shot right off the face-off. The dark team with a response. And it looks like that was Nico Cottage. And, man, I want to talk about amazing face-off guys. Michael Melkonian, who is really special at Southside. He was excellent this season. But, man, Nico Cottage, despite Smithtown West not being as good as they usually were, Cottage is one of the best face-off guys in the country. He does it with Legacy Taz. He's doing it here today. And it looks like he's probably going against long poles a lot and here today as well. But Cottage is one of those guys that has that it factor. Here's Mikey Mondiello. Mondiello right down Main Street. Some high heat from the Manhasset native. Back-to-back goals for the dark team. And the white team's going to have to do some different looks here at the face-off X as Nico Cottage has that dominant presence. It looks like we're going to see Brian Knapp at the X now. And Knapp, who's a lot of fun to watch. At the midfield position, gives it a go with the X. Cottage wins that one backwards with a lot of power behind it. Quinn Reynolds picks it up, the GB machine from Northport. I believe that was Jack Morrison attempting a bounce pass there. Morrison gives it off to Reynolds. And Reynolds was a part of a Northport team, of course, 3 straight Suffolk County championships. But what was special about this Tigers team this season was their defense was locked down. I mean, we're talking shutting down Half Hollow Hills. They stopped Ward Melville and Smithtown East. And I mean, they also limited Farmingdale in the LIC. They lost 5-3, but limiting a Farmingdale offense to 5 goals was very impressive. Quinn Reynolds was a huge part of it. So that pass intercepted. Looked like that was Aiden McMinn out of Ward Melville, and McMinn, he's going to Binghamton. He's going to be one of the top defenders on Long Island next year. That's going to be very exciting to watch. And we also have Jake Anzalone out of Seaford here, and I know the Vikings, they weren't what they were in 2022, but Anzalone is easily one of the top defenders in this class. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch, whoever he's matched up against. He could throw some highlight reel checks. Of course, very physical. So here's Knapp. Knapp with the left-hand shot on the run, and he finds the back of the cage. So I believe that makes this just a 1-goal game. And Brian Knapp showing the acceleration on that dodge. And as they say, high bouncers will go. Cottage wins that one relatively easily. There's no true Fogo on the white team, so they're letting their athletic midfielders try to keep up with Cottage, but it's another day in the office for the Smithtown West native. Now Cottage looking to give it a go offensively. He's going against Bilello. And Cottage with a shot, that one just wide. Caputo looking to back it up, but he was unable to get there in time. And here's Rocchio, bounce shot, almost burying that top right corner, but goes right off the crossbar. Opportunity in transition, Anzalone's pass handled by Ferraro. Ferraro fakes the pass and he goes top shelf. We are all tied up at 3. And Matt Ferraro, the one who scored that one out of Islip, he's headed to Boston University. And, that Buccaneers team, him and Jack Travato, both excellent players. And, they were really excited to watch. I'm very excited to, see Ferraro senior year. And looking to go right down the middle was the long pull on the dark team. Now Petrocelli inside Cottage on the backhand attempt, but Aiden McMinn, some strong defense in the middle of the field. And now here's Rowan Collins flying down the middle. Collins over, Anzalone fakes it, Anzalone right down Main Street and finishes. You gotta love the stick skills Jake Anzalone has. He goes right up the gut and fakes out a defender. That time he finds the back of the cage. LaForge and Mulholland going head-to-head once again. And now Cole DiPietro. DiPietro underhand shot and never got there. Looked like Anzalone and Spadaro got a piece of it. And yeah, there's some 2026s actually playing in this game. You have to give those kids credit, you know, going 2 years up against the top 2024s on Long Island. I mentioned Dante Spadaro. He's wearing number 4. And, you know, he's going to be exciting to see. Here's DiPietro. Rolls to his right, Anzalone all over it. And Jake Anzalone throws a nice check ball, still on the carpet. Fight for the GB. Won by DiPietro. He gets his own mistake. Looking to throw it inside, backhand attempt, no good, and it's going to stay with the white team. Now backhand shot, that was Rocchio, out of bounds. As time really winding down here in half number 1. Well, speed dodge over the top, nothing doing. Mulholland looked for an over-the-head check. Unable to cash in. Now Cole DiPietro working on Aiden McMinn. DiPietro, slick swim move, but that shot just bouncing over the cage. Now LaForge. Backing down Anzalone, head up, looking for someone inside. Had DiPietro for a minute. It was McMinn playing solid defense. Ball still on the carpet. And scooping it on a behind the back attempt was DiPietro. That bounces over the cage, but he'll take the ball back. Quick lever pass. What a look from LaForge and the dark team with another goal. And almost a tough mistake from the dark team after the turnover there. Just a minute left in the first half. And the dark team will look to clear this one and hopefully get a chance on offense. And Fargione easily goes up. We'll see if the netminder wants to score. Fargione gets by 1. He's going to crank it. He scores. Fargione coast to coast. And he's got a couple saves. You can add a goal to his name as well. Time expires for half number 1. We'll be back with the second half of action. You're watching the All Long Island games on the LI Sports Network. Welcome back to Breezy Park here in Huntington. It's the second half for the All Long Island games, and it's the 2024s. Real exciting first half as it ended with Dennis Fargione going coast to coast. And now almost a pole goal, an absolute rocket. But that one just a little wide. It looked like it was Jack Mahalan letting it fly from around 13. And now for the white team on offense. They're having some fun out here. You know, I always wondered what it'd be like, you know, Tommy Snyder at 6'5" deciding to play offense. Well, we get to see it here, so at least we get a little bit of a treat. Snyder looking to dodge past DiPietro. He goes backhand at Sam, just missing the net. And, of course, Snyder, the defenseman who's committed to UVA. He is one of the best prospects when it comes to long poles in America. But, you know, we get to see him play attack. Now it should be pretty fun. I mean, my favorite is Dennis Fargione, who, you know, we saw him score as a goalie. Now we actually get to see him as a field player. And, you know, he's headed to Villanova. He was excellent as a goalie in that Garden City run. That Trojans team, special once again. Now Bolello unleashes a laser. And he's got his second for the white team. And here on the wing, I mean, in my opinion, two of the best midfielders on Long Island, you know, Cole DiPietro and Brian Knapp, both playing with long poles in their hands now. As, of course, you know, this is an all-star game, and kids really, truly having fun out there now. So should be fun to see them in different positions. And I can't wait to see some fancy checks, but whatever they like to do out there. And DiPietro with the long stick, almost finding the back of the net there. As this looks like Petrocelli. Over to Cottage. Now Kelton. Kelton lefty shot just wide. We got Caden Lennon behind the cage. Lennon just dishes it off, and you know, I mentioned him throughout the broadcast, you know, physically one of the scariest players on the island. Now shot from Cottage, that one just off the pipe. As he's been dominating just about every single face-off he's taken, of course. And they're looking to find a cutting Knapp just over his head. Now we can see Owen West with the long pole. West dishes it ahead. And cut inside. Nothing doing now, a Hail Mary pass. Ball still loose, picked up by DiPietro. So 16, actually Jack Morrison, traditionally an LSM or close defenseman. Now he's playing a little bit of midfield, and he's going one-on-one against Kyle Bilello. Usually the other way around, of course. Bilello headed to Brown. You know, I've hyped him up, of course, as one of the fastest players on the island, as he's definitely very fun to watch. Now here's Knapp from around 20 yards out, just off the netminder. Now here's Caputo. And Caputo easily over the midfield line. He gives it off to Morrison, and he's going to want it back. It's a big summer for Jimmy Caputo. You know, he's definitely one of the top available goalies in the country. I mean, when he takes over Farmingdale next year, that's going to be very exciting. Now Morrison behind the back. That one is saved by Wacholder. And Adam Wacholder, who's headed to Marist, and, you know, I personally think Wacholder is one of the best goalies in the country. I think that was a huge steal for the Red Foxes. You know, him and Comswag next year are going to be very good. They got a lot of 2024 talent. Always a really tough team, coached by Pete Mitchell, who, you know, just breeds out guys who are just so tough. And, you know, it's going to be exciting to see the Warriors next year. And speaking of Comswag, we got Dylan Rocchio putting it in the net. He's going to be a leader for that Comswag team next season. He gets a goal. So I think we've reached the point where almost every single player is playing a different position than what they usually play. And this is a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of circus, a lot of backyard lacrosse, seeing what it was like when we were younger. And Lennon's pass with the long stick, a little bit inaccurate, but it's picked up. And Mondiello flying downfield. Excuse me, that's Petrocelli, I believe. And now Morrison going against Snyder, both on that 2024 Express team. Of course, there's players from that Express team, 91 Wolfpack, who currently the #1 team in the country. They got players like Lucas LaForge, who's been outstanding, and Ben Morris, who couldn't make it today. Of course, all those Suffolk County studs. And then Legacy Taz, you know, they got players from all over the place, including Nico Cottage, who won about pretty much every face-off here today. There's a shot and a goal for the Dark team. able to get that past Wacholder. As time ticking away here in the second half, as it's a fun celebration here of all these amazing 2024 prospects. And a lot of these kids having a lot of fun out there. You know, we're seeing people playing at different spots, getting to play with their travel buddies, with their high school buddies, and really getting after it.
That's the only thing. Like, it's just everything else fine is beating down my neck.
And now Rocchio gets de-twigged. It looked like that was either McMinn or Aiello as the double team there. And now Ferraro over to Bolello. Bolello toe drag. Bolello give him the hat trick. And the third one, he does it with the long pole. Kyle Bolello add another one to his name. So Jake Anzalone with it behind. Of course, Anzalone traditionally a long pole. He has a goal on the afternoon after scoring in transition. And we saw how physical he is, whether he has the ball or when he doesn't. But a turnover there by the white team. And now Morrison with it. He does a little swim dodge, looking to get through a couple defenders. He goes behind the back, almost finishing it there with his right hand, but just ends up in the stick of Wacholder. Mondiello with the interception. Over to DiPietro with the long stick, but that one just a little off target. Wacholder wins the backup, and white team looking to clear. And that shot just a little wide as it goes off the field goal post. As I believe that was Dennis Fargione from downtown. They got Tommy Snyder. And, some of these defensemen playing offense, you got Caden, and that was a stinger for the white team, but some of the biggest guys that, I've seen come through Long Island Lacrosse, all on one field, Caden Lennon at 6'6", Pat Mullen, who you'd have to say is around 6'5", then also Tommy Snyder, who is huge, and, previously when they were playing their actual positions, you had Snyder and Mullen, who I think might be on the same travel team. I mean, that is a massive defense right there with, two guys above 6'5" on the same starting lineup. As, they can match up with pretty much about anyone when it comes to physicality standpoints, of course. Both of them having tremendous strength as well. And DiPietro's shot just a little wide, and the white team will take over. It'll be Jack Mahalan on the far side looking to clear. And a lot of 2024 Manhasset players here today as we are approaching the 5-minute mark here in the 24 All-Star game. But yeah, you got Jack Morrison, who's coming back, Jack Mahalan. I mean, this past year, Manhasset, you know, of course they had a lot of guys graduate. I mean, that 23 class was special, but you got a lot of good guys in the 24 class coming back. We saw some of those 25s earlier in the 8 a.m. slot. And speaking of those 23s, if enough people come, we'll see Jack Peterson here, who was one of the best midfielders on Long Island. And Aiden McMinn, the Ward Melville native, puts it in. And the defender heading to Binghamton sweeps the turf. He's got a goal for the white squad. And white team wins the face-off. A little tic-tac-toe, but unable to capitalize at the very end. And Lennon almost went for the over-the-head check, but he was unable to capitalize on it. There's just a couple minutes left here. White team looking to put in a goal if they can. We'll see if we see a little long pull ISO here with Kyle Bolello. And Bolello, he has 3 goals on the afternoon, unable to get a fourth, as dancing with that long pull a little bit difficult. And Cole DiPietro, he loses it. It was Jake Anzalone with the check. Anzalone going downfield. Fakes the pass, then gives it up to DeBuscher. Near side shot, just wide. And Lennon with the beautiful check there. He's not going to get to do that too much often on the ride, so that's always fun to see. And it's fun to see, you know, with his size and physicality, how he would actually look with the long pull. And him and Brendan O'Keefe coming back next year for Daler's team that had a special run, you know, first LIC since 2011. I mean, Farmingdale had just a bunch of dudes this season, and I mean, very, very physical team. They should be excited next year. Nassau Class A has got a lot coming back. Pequot and Syosset should be good once again. We're Washington. We saw Max Enyon, the 8th grade goalie here in the 27 game. last second goal for the black team. As time really ticking down here. A little rock, paper, scissors at the face-off X. Looked like Jake Anzalone won that one. Between teammates of, Legacy Taz and Aiden McPin with the shot. Just wide, but Jake Anzalone with the exclamation point. That'll do it for the 2024 All Long Island Games. This was a fun one, and we got the seniors coming up next, so it should be a show between the guys that just graduated. Make sure you guys come back and watch that one. Should be very fun. This is the 2024 All Long Island Games here on the LI Sports Network. We'll be back with the 2023s after this.